Hello, welcome to Spotlight, focusing on the best in art and creativity island-wide.
Spotlight, brought to you by the Isle of Man Arts Council.
This evening, we hear of a new audio drama written, recorded and produced on the island. Hear how a Manx-born author took inspiration from Manx folklore for the latest book in his fantasy series. Look forward to the Festival of Choirs fast coming up on the rails this very weekend, and hear how opera forms part of the Erin Art Centre's autumn offering. Remember, do get in touch with any creative artistic endeavours you may be involved in, planning, hoping to create, or would really like to put in the spotlight. Poetic, theatrical, musical, literary, sculpture, ceramics, drag, film, mime, social media, digital. On it goes, you know it. You might not. Either way, get in touch. Then you can be part of it. Howard Kane at manxradio.com. Kane with an E. Spotlight at manxradio.com. If you're doing anything arty, we'd love to hear. Get you featured on the show. Who knows where it might end? Today, Port Erin. Tomorrow, the world.
Can you ever truly escape your past? Connie was never popular in school. She had to lose herself in order to fit in. Now, in her 30s, it doesn't seem as though journalism is for her anymore.
Good morning, Will Press Associates. How can I help?
Harry, it's Connie Innes.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay, thanks, apart from the fact that Atlantis seemed to have quite a big news tip-off before us. Again. Any ideas why that could be?
Isn't that the thing about the soup kitchen closure?
Indeed it is.
Well, I'm sorry, but honestly, I don't know how they got it. We didn't even know about it until this morning.
I know you're lying. I've been listening to your voice for 13 years.
Fia is living in a flat with no food or electricity. She's trying
A little
to stop
taste from the
drinking
trailer
and
for
taking
Echoes
drugs.
of
It's not
Shadows,
easy,
a new
especially
audio
when
drama
it's
written and
get
produced
to
by Helen McKenna, a former journalist and well-known actress on the Manx stage. This is Helen's first foray, as far as I know, into audio drama, which has been recorded and produced locally using well-known actors from the ever-burgeoning Manx Dram scene. I asked Helen how the project had come about.
Nope! If you don't listen to me, you're going to get it about 1,000,000 times worse from whoever interviews you at headquarters, okay?
Basically, I came up with the idea last summer, and in my journalistic career, I'm not a journalist anymore. I have to point that out. But during my time as a journalist, I would often speak to the charities that the audio drama is raising awareness for, which is the Food Bank, Motivate, and Victim Support. And as well as that, I've also been friends with people who have struggled with drug and alcohol addiction, and just wanted to kind of do something to beat the stigma, as it were, and raise awareness for these hardworking charities. So came up with the fictional island of Willin.
And had you always seen it in your mind's eye when you started out writing it? Did you see it originally as an audio drama rather than a play or a book or a novel or whatever?
Yeah, so it's an audio drama, just because I think podcast can kind of confuse people. They might assume it's sort of like a sit-down meeting sort of thing where you discuss like a topic, but it's very much an audio drama, and it will be streamed on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, which many will see as podcast sort of platforms. But yeah, so it's an audio drama series of 10 episodes in total, but so I've recorded 5, and they're set to be released Friday, all being well.
And so how did you go about casting it and actually doing the recording process?
So I had a few people in mind as I was writing the drama. Lisa Kreisky, who plays the protagonist Connie. I've worked with Lisa, as well as knowing her for a long time as a friend. We've frequently acted together, and I've been directed by her. So it was a bit of a change this time, whereas I was directing her. So I kind of wanted to speak to Lisa, because it's sort of a varied role. I was very much, I had Lisa in mind. Other actors involved, Grania Jockin, again, I'd acted with her on the stage as well. So as I was writing Fia, who's Connie's friend that she reconnects with after a decade, I kind of could like approach them, sort of thing, comfortably, and kind of say this person has addiction or mental health struggles, and basically kind of gave them enough sort of background and research for each character. But it's very much kind of been either people that I've not worked with before, like the likes of I have worked with a lot of them, but I'm just trying to think. I haven't really worked with Rachel Braidwood before as an actor, so that was kind of different. And but I'd obviously kind of I recognise like her voice from previous productions, and I very much the voice to me as I was writing the characters. I kind of thought, oh, this would be perfect for Ollie or Kelly. That was kind of the process for me.
And well, the first 5 episodes, are they all being released simultaneously, not being sort of broadcast in sort of serial style?
So the plan is to just release all 5 on the 10th of October. And I just kind of thought, because some people like to binge audio dramas, and others might think, okay, that was quite deep, I've got to come back to that. So people can very much, kind of choose on their own terms when they listen all in one go. Some episodes aren't as long as others. They're not all like a set time as well. Some of the dialogue, like for instance in episode 5, because it is like sort of like the halfway point of the series, there's a lot more in that. So I just made that decision to get all 5 done, and then the other 5 I'm hoping will be ready by March next year.
So quite a bit more work. What's the sort of the average length of each episode? As you're saying, they're different lengths, but what's the sort of average roughly?
Yeah, I'd say about 20 minutes. But some that, some can be like considerably sort of shorter, just because it's like a lot to sort of take in. I think for the first episode, it's just under that. But others can range from between 25 to 30.
We should mention, of course, funding from our friends at the Arts Council for the whole project.
Of course, the whole project wouldn't have been possible without the Isle of Man Arts Council. I was very surprised in a good way in December when it was approved, after all the application and that work was complete. It means a lot to me, this project, to see it like obviously coming to this far. It's it's been an interesting journey. So I hope people can make it. And as I say, it wouldn't have been possible without them. So I really would encourage anyone who's got just even a slight idea about a story, whether it's, film, writing, anything like that. Yeah, I would really encourage it that they apply.
And how have you found the process itself? Because it's a lot of work, obviously, in the writing and then rewriting and tweaking it, such like getting cast, getting the people in, doing the actual practical recording. Has it ended up in your own head as you imagined it as you were writing it?
It's actually been really refreshing, because as you know, Howard, I've often been in a lot of theatre plays, and it's completely different in terms of the recording. Wouldn't all be in like like you would get with a theatre play. It's not all in one sort of block, if you like, of a certain amount of time. It's been literally since January through to now, really, that I've had to kind of go back and go, okay, we'll re-record that. Can such and such, like whichever, especially Ollie Sykes, who plays Joe, he actually was at uni for a lot of it. So he would often have to send sound bites. Luckily he does journalism, so that helped that he had access to a microphone.
Yes.
But that's just an example really of not everyone was in the same room for each recording an episode. I'd often have to come back, and even listening, I'd go, actually, that dialogue doesn't really work there, or that isn't what the character would say. And as well as that, the charities such as victim support, especially because of some of the drama's themes, I would often have to do a lot of research and check and just say, do you think this sounds okay? Is this what this character would say if they were experiencing this experience in their life, and edit it to make it fit. So yeah, it's been fun, but as you can probably tell, it's been a little bit sort of not I wouldn't say stressful, but
but it's a lot of work, isn't it? It's a lot, and it's a lot of work doing these things, putting them together. So many congratulations for getting it all together. And as you say, so Come October the 10th, first 5 episodes, so you'll get to the halfway point, and then hopefully the remaining 5 episodes in the series will be available. You're hoping for sort of next March, springtime, somewhere around there.
Yes, that's the aim. So hopefully when I get the episode 10 finalized and written, how, even though it's hard for me because I worry a lot about it, obviously I want it to kind of do what I've set out to do with it and raise awareness and hope that, it's well received. So I'll put that aside and go, right, that's it. That's the final draft.
Yes.
Let's get it recorded and finished.
If people just want to find out more, can they go online? Can they go onto Facebook and get more details about the project and where they can actually listen?
Yes, so we've got a website up and running. Echoes of Shadows has an official website, so I will link you up to that, Howard. And also there's a Facebook page as well. If you just search Echoes of Shadow audio drama, it should come up. In terms of the actual event, it's on Eventbrite and it is on the Isle of Man Chamber of Commerce's social media feeds.
It's a really ambitious project, tackling some difficult issues, of course. So hats off to Helen for not just writing it, but actually getting it out there. Often harder than the creative process itself. Check it out online via Facebook or the website, as she says. The podcasts themselves, again, remember, go live on the 10th of October on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And just stop press, a quick update since I recorded that with Helen. There was due to be a free launch event at the Launchpad in Hillary House tomorrow evening. Sadly, Helen's gone down with the dreaded COVID doing the rounds again, it seems. And so that's not going to happen. It's got to be postponed, but the event will now take place at the Launchpad on the 15th of October, same time, 7 to 8 p.m. Get well soon, Helen.
Spotlight. Brought to you by the Isle of Man Arts Council.
What you won't have to wait long for is the Isle of Man Choir Festival 2025 on this very weekend at the Villa Marina. It sees choirs from around the UK and possibly further afield come to the Isle of Man, not just to sing and compete, but to enjoy the island, its surroundings, socialise with other singers from other choirs and generally have a good time. Organiser Gary Corkle dropped by to give me the latest. And of course, remember the founder of the festival, the late Jeff Corkish.
We've just a few days to go before we start, so we're just finishing off all the little details before the weekend.
And what's the turnout like? Because I know that sounded like there was a goodly number coming over, including a band, I think, coming from somewhere like Sierra Leone. Have they made it, do we know? Or
To be perfectly honest, I'm not sure. I've had discussions with the UK Immigration Office and Isle of Man Immigration, and I spoke to them about 4 weeks ago, but I've lost contact with them, so I'm not sure they're going to turn up or not. But if they come, we'll fit them in.
We keep our fingers crossed. As for the others, have we still got a good turnout for the rest of the choirs?
Yeah, we have. We've got a total of just under 450 people coming over.
Wow.
Which is including choristers and supporters. So yeah, a good number.
And just give us a reminder of sort of what sort of form the festival takes for the Festival of Choirs.
So it's a day and a half, really. It allows people to fit in a very quick weekend competition. So we have a Saturday all day, 4 competitions. We have an open voice class, which is like an anything goes class, a male voice class, a ladies voice class, and a mixed voice class. And those 4, the winners of those 4 classes then compete on a Sunday morning for the title of the choir of the festival. And they sing different pieces on the Sunday morning in the final. The final is actually a really nice event because it's a 25-minute concert programme. There's no music for the adjudicator to look at. The adjudicator sits back and says, "That's the choir for me." So, and they're usually on their best form. Good repertoire and again very enjoyable.
And there's also, I think, for the Festival of Choirs, obviously the competition is the main thing, but part of it is also the social side and allowing people to mix with other choirs and see the Isle of Man.
Yes, it is. We have the 2 days of competition, which is any member of the public can come along. But on the Friday night, our founder, unfortunately the late Jeff Corkish, who founded the festival in 2010, he wanted it to be fun. He loved his singing, very passionate about choirs, but he wanted singing to be fun. And the fun element of the weekend is a welcome evening on the Friday night where we invite all the choirs to come to the Royal Hall in the Villa Marina. They all eat together, they all dine together, and we give them a bit of a welcome, and then we ask all the choirs to get up and sing their party piece. And we may well teach them the Manx national anthem as well.
And you mentioned Jeff there, and obviously I know sadly we've just recently lost Jeff, and people who have seen, I know St George's was packed for the funeral, and active in so many spheres of island life. But as you mentioned, he's obviously a brilliant singer himself and well known, singing around the island for decades and decades, and in the guild and such like. As you say, again, he was always passionate about the choirs and choral singing, and this was sort of his baby, I think, when he sort of drove it originally.
It was. It started in 2010, and I remember having a conversation with Jeff. He wanted to try and create an event to get as many choristers together as possible. We looked at October because it was towards the end of the season. He wanted to give, again, with his Isle of Man hat on, he wanted to give tourism a late boost. So his idea of formulating the festival choirs, and again, particularly for the social aspect. And yes, I remember him getting all the local choirs together and saying, look, I'd like to put this on. Would you come and join in with us? And actually, a lot of the local choirs, again, joined in. We got about 6 visiting choirs that year, but it was enough to say, actually, we could do this again. We did it the following year and got a few more choirs, and then we've been doing it every 2 years since then. So it's Jeff's baby, and everybody that's come, especially to the Isle of Man, they've loved it. They've gone away singing the praises of the Isle of Man in general, and the singing scene. It'll be different this weekend without Jeff, especially on the Friday night. But I know Jeff would be wanting to say, look, let's just crack on and have a good time.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. And just going forward, because obviously, as you say, it's a lot of work organising these sort of things, and sadly, like I said, Jeff is no longer with us. Do you know at this stage whether the festival will be able to continue?
Well, we've got dates set in 2027. I think we're going to sit down after this festival with Jeff's family and see how we can continue to do it. So we're very optimistic that we can carry on. And of course, the whole weekend is a family affair because we had Jeff, Muriel, Jeff's wife Muriel will be leading Glenfarber chorales in the competition. His daughter Sarah runs the platform for us. His granddaughter Ella looks after all the choirs and the practices and gets them in the right order. So it is a family affair, and we're looking forward to the festival. Obviously, again, with a little bit of sadness, but it's all systems go for the festival and Jeff's family, and we want to make it as good as all the other ones. Absolutely.
And indeed, as you say, sad on the one hand, but I'm sure we can make it a celebration of his life and his love of music and choral singing and all the rest of it.
Absolutely.
Right, okay, so nitty-gritty, dates, times, how can people go along if they want to go and watch or see any of the choirs or whatever? What's the best thing?
So it's in the Royal Hall in the Villa Marina, Saturday 11th of October. The classes start from 10 o'clock, and we have the open, then the mixed, then the ladies, and then the men's. Finishes about 5:30. There's a pop-up cafe, so you won't have to leave if you want to stay the whole day, or if you want to just come in and have a view of a particular class. And on the Sunday morning, it starts at 10 o'clock with an ensemble competition. We've got 7 ensembles, followed by the choir of the festival final. So it'll finish about 1:30 on Sunday. Again, tickets available, a single ticket for £12.50, which gives you access to the whole weekend for one ticket and one price. It's just going to be a lovely weekend choral singing.
Should be a great event, a wonderful way for people to come to the Isle of Man, perhaps for the first time. They might come back again. Now, if your vocal tastes are perhaps slightly more highbrow, if I'm allowed to say that, probably not, but I've said it now, or perhaps you just have a very broad range of singing to enjoy, then whilst the island isn't well served for opera lovers generally due to the nature of the beast somewhat, there is some world-class opera to be had at the EAC, the Aeronaut Centre, this very autumn, live from the Met. as EAC Artistic Director Pip Rolfe explained to me as we looked ahead to some of the autumn happenings at the centre. You've been doing these sort of the opera days for the last year or two here, where sort of screening and then people make an event of it.
That's right. So we do the live from the New York Met events. Well, their season starts in October. So our first one is 25th of October. It's La Somnambula, which is a work I don't know, actually.
No, I was going to say I don't think I do.
It's by Bellini.
Okay, I think I've heard of it, and that's about as far as I would say.
Well, that's what we thought, and then we realised it was just because it was a drink. But the screenings normally start at 6 o'clock because they're New York Met matinee time.
Yeah.
And we do a nice sort of buffet so people can come down, dress up, have something to eat in the interval, and make out like you're at the New York Met. I have been to the New York Met, and I still haven't been to one of these. I will do it. I will do it this back end to get to an opera day because it just sounds great. And again, are there sort of regulars for that, or is it whoever turns up? Oh, a bit of both. I mean, there are some people who really love the traditional operas. Yeah. Some people like to come and see the modern, the new. They're all fairly, they're all new productions. The Met productions, they're sort of pretty colourful and daring. But we've got some people who don't miss any of those. Yeah. And then, like I say, assorted ones who like the modern or the older ones, who kind of chew a bit more sort of choosy.
Yeah, exactly. And I expect as well, if you are an opera fan or a lover of that type of music, then you haven't got a huge option to actually seeing anything locally, really, so this might be your only chance.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as well there's quite a few venues who do the Royal Opera House and the programmes, but I think we're the only venue that does the New York Met. And they're just great. They're really lovely productions. Whether you're a massive fan of opera or not, just the theatricality and the scale of the productions is really incredible. And you get to see behind the scenes at the interval. You get to see the scene changes. You get to hear interviews with the principals. They're really great productions.
And can we just touch on while we're thinking about it, because of course the EAC, as well as doing the productions and the concerts in the evening, is sort of a hub for sort of local arts as well. And we've got the bar area going. I know some poetry events have been held there. You have I can never remember the name of the Port Erin Pearlers. No,
God, I'll have you. The Port Pearlers.
The Port Pearlers. Yeah, I'll be done. These sort of smaller groups who sort of come and use the centre in different ways.
Absolutely. So we have the Pearlers are in every Tuesday, knitting and crafting and crocheting and chatting away. We have a book circle meeting every month where people discuss a certain book and sit and have a cup of tea and a chat about that. All the books are up on the website. I think we've got a full list. I don't have them to hand, but you can go and look on our site. We have painting classes in the bar. Ellie Baker's currently running some evening and afternoon classes for beginners and sort of more experienced painters. So yeah, quite a lot going on. We have poetry evenings in there. Yeah,
I love all that, because in a way that's what sort of defines what an art centre is, isn't it? It's the fact that these small groups are using it's not just a venue.
Yeah, and hopefully as people get used to the fact that they can come in and use these areas, we'll get more of this. This is what I would like to see. I'd like to see us busier during the day. I'd like to see more groups taking advantage of the great facilities that we have here, and people who maybe want to do smaller evening events, who is maybe slightly intimidated by using the 100+ capacity of the auditorium, can just rock up and with 30 or 40 people, you can have a full event in the bar.
Terrific. Any exhibitions sort of in the next couple of months in the gallery?
Yeah, we have an exhibition at the moment called Contrasts, which is Keith Holt and Stephen Free's paintings. And then the next thing coming up, I think, is Steve Nesbitt, another collection of Steve Nesbitt's paintings, which I know you have one of his pictures.
I think I do, yeah. I've got the one with the boats.
That's right.
Yeah, it's in its pride of place in front of my bed.
Excellent. Well, yeah, Steve's working on some new pieces at the moment.
Yeah, that was a lovely one. I'll be down to take a look at that.
Yeah, always look forward to a show of his.
It's a true artistic hub in the south, no matter what arts you enjoy. Do make sure you support it. As we all know in these things, you either use it or lose it. Before we go, just time to hear a little more from Manx author Luke Quain. We chatted to him last week about the latest book in his fantasy series, the Curutha Chronicles, say it as you will, Alban and the Call to War, the hugely successful series now in its third and it seems penultimate tome. But before we finished, I wanted to ask Luke to tell us how much his Manx childhood had inspired his novels. Obviously, the Isle of Man is steeped in folklore and myths and legends, and there are things like the Begain and the More the Do and various creatures and fairies, monsters, all the rest of it. Have you drawn on that quite a bit?
Yes, I have, very much so. I was. It's funny you should say that. Obviously, I've got friends that aren't from the Isle of Man. I've, made them in England and Sweden, but everyone's very, very interested in the Isle of Man, I've found, and like even just saying. I think I went to some, this is like 10 years ago now, but I went to some university group and everyone said like, tell us your name, where you're from, and an interesting fact about yourself. And I said, oh, my name's Luke. Interesting fact. Well, where am I from? The Isle of Man. Interesting fact. Well, from the Isle of Man. And I mean, to be fair, yeah, like everyone wanted to ask me about the Isle of Man and had so many questions. And a lot of people talked about how, they got the ferry over and everything. Quite a few people that do visit complains to me about cancelled ferries and things, which I did think was quite funny. That seems to be like a universally known thing, apparently.
A common thread.
But yeah, the thing that I found most people, like when they stop believing me, is when I talk about Jeff the mongoose, the ghost of the mongoose that talks to people. That's when they say, no, you're pulling my leg here. That's, you're making this up. That's not true. That's not like in the folklore. But I absolutely love telling them that it is. Sorry, yeah, back to my book. Jeff the mongoose is actually kind of a feature because it's like not Jeff himself, but the idea of these kind of like ghostly. So the kind of fantasy element of the book is that everyone's souls are kind of outside of their body in this world, and they take on the form of an animal, depending on what job you're like best suited for. And yeah, that kind of came about through the influence of, say, Jeff the mongoose, or the Begain, kind of this like ghostly dog, kind of all these like ghostly animals that kind of in my head as a child could like follow you around. Yeah, it came very much from the element folklore in that.
And then you touched on before the fact that you also, along with the books, you quite often go to primary schools and do workshops and talk to the kids, do readings and such like. Is that very much a part of the work sort of tied in with the Alban series?
It is, yeah. I very much enjoy, I love doing the kind of workshops and kind of the tours around the school. Like I have done a few for free before, and I would even, in order to keep doing them, I would love to do them for free, but I'm not allowed, essentially. But I absolutely love it. And it's great how doing that. So something we kind of touch upon is sometimes I have like multiple workshops I can run. So if I see the same class twice, they're not just doing the same thing again.
Yeah.
And something we mention in the second workshop is that the best authors kind of draw elements from their real life experience so that they can write exactly actually how it feels to be in that moment. And I say that to them. I then read a chapter where Alban has to stand up in front of a class full of people and talk about something he's passionate about. And then I kind of see if any of them put the dots together that like, actually that's influenced from last time I was here, where I spoke to you guys about my book. And I know how I know how Alban feels in that moment because that's how I felt talking to you guys. Mm-hmm. And that's just great to be able to do and to be with the kids and things. It's also incredibly rewarding because I have dyslexia, so I struggles to spell and things like that. And I've found that normally someone in every class is dyslexic or struggles with it a bit, and I'm very, very proud of the fact that I can say to them, some of them have this attitude that I can't really be an author because I can't spell or I can't read, and I'm very proud to be able to say to some of them well, so am I. Yep. And I am.
You can do it.
So you can do it. Yeah, it's there are struggles with it, and you have to. There are certain hurdles that some people won't have to face, and some that you will, but you can. Very much so.
Which is inspiring, I think, for a lot of young people. The third one's out now, Alban and the Call to War. So that's available, as they say, in all good bookshops and online as well.
It is, yes, it is. yeah, all good bookshops and online if that's the way you'd like.
Splendid. And the obvious thing is, we're saying it's the penultimate in the Karratha Chronicles. Does that mean work has started on the final instalment, or is that yet to come?
That work has started. So, I mean, I'm sure if anyone knows me, they know this news already, but I recently had a daughter, my first child.
Excellent.
And obviously, you have 9 months of realizing that your life is about to get busier than it ever has done before. So I spent those 9 months trying my absolute best to get as much writing done as possible, because I was aware that very quickly I was going to struggle for time to write. So I think I actually finished draft 1 of book 4 before book 3 came out. Yeah, work has started. There is still quite a lot of work to go, but I've made decent headway with the final book.
We look forward to the next instalment, and he's right. People are always interested when you tell them you're from the Isle of Man, and not always just because the boats are late and the planes cost a fortune. That's about it for now. We'll be back next week when we will have some of those promised Tynwald balls. See you then. In the meantime, be good, whatever you're doing. Be creative about it. Himu.